Manchester United are destined to bounce back next season because I do not think there's anything they can do any worse than they performed last season, in which they finished 15th on the Premier League log. But beyond that, there's a number of factors as to why I think Manchester United will be bouncing back. First of all, first and foremost, is the cultural change that is ongoing at Manchester United in terms of player behavior, in terms of how they handle themselves on and off the pitch, the kind of discipline that Ruben Amorim is instilling in that club, given the kind of leeway that he is being given by his bosses to get rid of whichever player that he may not desire with his squad. That's why we've seen the movement of Marcus Rashford, Jordan Sanchez expected to leave, Alejandro Garnacho could join Chelsea this summer, and things like that. But then, more importantly, they're going to be playing competitive only in the Premier League. Of course, the Carabao Cup will come along the way, and the FA Cup that is in January. But you can never underestimate the power of playing one game a week. That you play on a weekend, have the entire week to review, correct what went wrong, capitalize on what went right, and look forward to the next weekend. I believe that is going to be Manchester United an advantage and to really perform better this season, being that they are going to be out of Europe. The responsibility, the pressure of being out of Europe is not going to be their shoulders. Of course, for a team like Manchester United, they are used to being in Europe. They are accustomed to that kind of football. But in this particular season, the manager that is still fresh, well within his project at Manchester United, after guiding them through this better half of last season, he will have a clean slate, a blank check to show us what he is capable of. And speaking of what he is capable of, if you did watch Manchester United in the Premier League Summer Series over there in the United States, in which they beat up against West Ham by 2 goals to 1, and FC Bournemouth by 4 goals to 1, as well as that 2-all draw against Everton, then I'm sure there's some positives that you did pick up on that get you excited to think or to see that Manchester United are destined for a very brilliant season. I think players like Patrick Togu will be standout players, but more importantly, also some of the additions that they've added in. Last season, they could only score 44 goals, and now they've added players that are capable of scoring many, many goals. Matthias Cunha scored 15 at Wolves last season, while Brian Mbeumo scored 20, with those two providing a combined 13 assists in the Premier League last season. So that means they've added a goal threat and a power to their ranks, not to mention Benjamin Sesko. So when you look at their recruitment, given that they're going to be competing predominantly in the Premier League, the culture shift and the overall mode within the club, I think they are destined for better things next season, and that's why my prediction is that Manchester United will finish 7th on the Premier League table next season.